Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today to a very special LIFT webinar. We were very excited about this to give the students that we work with from UPrep Science and Math High School in Detroit the opportunity to talk about their experiences going through the Ignite Mastering Manufacturing curriculum. Most of the students you'll hear from today have been part of the program this is their second year, but as we all know, it's been a challenging second year to be a part of as we're all going through the COVID-19 pandemic, and school has been, for the most part, virtual. But we hope everyone is remaining safe and well throughout this pandemic. But we still wanted to show you and give you through the students' perspective what they are learning and how we're going about this, both from last year as well as how they're going through this experience and this curriculum this school year virtually. So again, my name is Joe Steele. I'm the Senior Director of Communications and Legislative Affairs with LIFT. I do want to share a couple of things with you about LIFT before we get into the panel presentations, because there may be some folks in line who aren't as familiar with the Institute. So LIFT is one of 16 National Manufacturing Innovation Institutes. We are based in the Corktown neighborhood of Detroit, over on Rosa Parks Boulevard. You can see the building behind me here, if you can see my screen. We are a public-private partnership between the Department of Defense, industry, and academia. And really our goal is to help drive American manufacturing into the future through technology and talent development. And today we're going to talk about the talent development side of that equation. In general, we believe that the future of the American economy, the future of our national security, rests on what we are calling smarter manufacturing. And smarter manufacturing is the connection between materials, processes, systems, and talent. Folks may have heard about the skills gap that exists in advanced manufacturing. Over the course of the next 10 years, there's 2.4 million jobs in advanced manufacturing that are likely to go unfilled because there are not enough people with the knowledge, skills, and abilities to take those jobs. So a combination of older folks retiring and not enough younger folks taking up advanced manufacturing, that is where the skills gap resides. And that is one of our challenges as a Manufacturing Innovation Institute, to make sure that talent pipeline is robust and healthy. And again, the national economy and national security rests on manufacturing. So we want to ensure that that talent pipeline is robust and healthy. So really, we operate two programs out of LIFT as a nonprofit National Manufacturing Innovation Institute. The first is Leading Innovations for Tomorrow. That is the talent side of the equation, and Learning Innovations for Tomorrow. That is the technology side of the equation, and Learning Innovations for Tomorrow, which is the talent side of the equation. Both of those put together, and you have LIFT. We are a nonprofit, member-based organization. You can see here some of the things that we offer our members. Member organizations, whether they be industry, academic, or government members. So you can learn more about this at our website, certainly. A little bit about the technology side. I know this is mostly a talent-focused webinar, but I wanted to share with you our four major pillars that we focus on, the technology side of the equation under our CTO, Hadrian Rory. Everything from digital thread and digital computational materials engineering to advanced alloys and multi-materials joining, really connecting, as I said, the materials, the processes, and systems. We need to make sure that we know what the material is. We need to make sure we know how it's going to react when it's processed, and importantly, how it will react when it's in the final system. Again, more information available on our website with that. But I do want to focus today, in my brief opening remarks here, on the Learning Innovations for Tomorrow. And that is where we are today. That is what we're here to talk about. And there's really four areas that we focus on in our Learning Innovations for Tomorrow as well. Ignite Mastering Manufacturing. This is a curriculum that was developed through funding from the Department of Defense that LIFT and partners around the country helped put together. It is a 3-year program. The students you're going to hear from today, most of them are in their second year in the program. really is a foundational program to help really introduce students to the world of advanced manufacturing, from materials to electronics, to pneumatics, to smarter manufacturing, all of these different things. And those take place obviously pre-COVID. That took place in our LIFT Learning Lab. Hopefully we'll get the students back there sooner rather than later. We look forward to having them back. But in the meantime, we have been working with them virtually, thanks to Mr. Gruber, who is on the call today, and Marianne Donahue, who is our director of the LIFT Learning Lab. They have really been interacting with the students each and every day. So not only with high school students, we also offer programs for adults or more mature learners as well, folks who are looking for a new skill, folks who are looking to advance their skills. Through our world-class certification programs. We offer certification programs in welding, CNC, even during the pandemic. We're able to do that. And then finally, Operation Next is one of the programs we're most proud of. That started as a program at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where we provided separating men and women from the military. They were getting ready to leave their service. 6 months prior, we offered them the opportunity to earn certifications in welding, CNC, industrial technology, maintenance, now robotics, so that when they leave the base, they're able to go get their civilian job and not say, thank you, good luck, but to really give them those nationally recognized, certified, nationally recognized portable credentials that they're able to take with them. But today we're here to talk about Ignite, Mastering Manufacturing through the eyes of our students. Again, more information is available online here, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, I know Marianne will talk about this, but the fact that we're able to work with UPrep, Science and Math High School, as the students who are coming into the Learning Lab each and every day, we would not be able to do that without the support of the school and the teachers and the administration and the board of the school, along with LIFT's leadership, but the Skillman Foundation in Detroit. They were able to help support this program financially in terms of getting the students to our facility each and every day. So with that, that is a quick overview of LIFT. I want to turn the program over to Marianne Donahue, who is the director of the LIFT Learning Lab, to talk about the program and to talk about the students who are here with us today. So Marianne, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Joe. I'm just going to introduce the instructor from UPrep and the students. I'll kind of just go in order of my screen, but I'm very excited just because I do feel we have a lot going on at LIFT, specifically in talent, and UPrep is one of my favorite programs. Being a former teacher, it means a lot for me to work with these students and this teacher every day and to get just some hands-on instruction and be able to interact with them, even if it is virtually every day. So first, I'm going to start with Alex. So students, we have a couple that their cameras aren't working, so they can say hi, but then when I say your name, just kind of wave. So Alex, you are up first. Alex Lawrence is in his second year at LIFT. So he, most of these students started last year, so they had a year where they worked in the lab, and then this year they've been forced to work virtually. So thank you, Alex. Next one is Mikayan. He's back there. And Terrell. Keon. Keon's up there. Actually, he managed to figure out his background, so he looks like he's in the Learning Lab. I do have the Learning Lab in my background as well. David Tinsley. Hey, David. And Kemp.
Hello.
Thank you, Kemp. And then Brian, I'm glad you joined us. There's Brian. And then one more was Joseph. I think he added at the last minute. I don't know if we've moved him over yet. I don't see him, so maybe we can point him out, but why don't we go ahead and get straight to the questions from our students. We will have a little bit of question and answer at the end, so feel free to put any questions in the chat.
Yeah, thank you. If you do have questions, please use the Q&A function at the bottom of the menu. of the Zoom platform. We can take any questions after the presentation. Sorry, I should have mentioned that earlier, Marianne. Thank you.
So yeah, feel free to ask lots of questions. I'm really excited to hear the students talk. They did a great job. They actually prepared the questions in the style of what the webinar along with us. So that was fun. So go for it. Oh, and last but not least, this is Mr. Gruber, our instructor. Usually he's at Lyft and he's surviving
Working
virtual
remotely.
instruction this year.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to highlight today our student scholars that have been participating in our Lyft program for 2 years to try to find a way to advance STEM education, prepare them for whatever the future holds. And so with that, I'd like to turn it over to our students, and from their perspective, what they think, what they know of, what is Ignite, and what is it we do at Lyft here. Keon, you're muted. Thank you. No problem.
So Ignite is a manufacturing curriculum, and it's how we learn our material online and through the lab. We go through Ignite through a website called Amatro, and we have things called e-learning. And like I said, it's how we learn online and in the lab. And with these lessons, you can bring them in. It teaches you everything like circuits and with stuff involving engines and panels. And with these things, you can bring them into your everyday life and use them whenever you go out of high school or whatever job field you go into involving engineering. It's just things that will really help you in your future.
Thank you, Keon. Maybe you could expound a little bit more. How do we use Amatrol and Ignite? Like, what does our day look like in our classroom?
So at Amatro, so we go in, so we would do a pre-quiz and basically to see how well we know this certain subject. And then we would go into the learning. So we will learn all about it in readings and in skills and just seeing like how does these things works and reading about it and interacting with it. And then after we go through the lessons and do the skills, we do an actual quiz to see like how much we actually know about it, how much did we get out of it, and to see like how well do we do in that certain category.
Oh, thank you, Keon. So you mentioned something about skills. We've been trying to make the learning as interactive and as real world as possible. Anybody, what are some of the coolest parts or best parts about the Ignite as far as the real world experience you've received in this program?
Me,
no, go ahead. Sure.
To me, the best part with the skills, I'm gonna say the circuits, because I wanted to get into like doing stuff like that in the future, and I was teaching me how to do certain stuff like that I didn't know about, but now I have knowledge of how to do it or somewhat knowledge of where to start at. So now it's like I'm not starting off fresh. I kind of know what to do now based on the skills.
Okay.
So yeah.
We have an example here on Mr. Stinson's work on one of our skills labs. Mr. Steele, if you could, I think we have a slide there showing what is this? This is Terrell. If you could, what are we looking at here for those at home who haven't seen something like this before? What is this?
Right. So this is a simulator from the e-learning work. I can't explain it, but basically this simulator allows you to create a circuit that allows you to interact with it, like you make the different cylinders and motors move. You connect different wires from one side of the relay lab to the other, because the left side acts as a power source, and you can connect that power source to different modules that allows you to power and function these different mechanisms on the right.
Okay, I've heard. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You can go.
No, I heard a student refer to it kind of as like the telephone operator board. You see in old time movies. Did that make
Yeah,
sense?
it's similar to that. I definitely get where they're coming from with that.
Yeah. And what can we do with it being plug and play like that?
We can plug in different wires to see what they do, to see if our circuit actually works or not. We can just play around with it a little bit to get a real feel for it.
Excellent.
And you'll be able to reuse it multiple times.
Mm.
Oh, thanks, David. Yeah, so we've been able to use the same simulator and same board across different projects. What were you working on in this project specifically? What were you trying to do? I mean, it kind of looks like a mess, right? If somebody saw this for the first time, it could be a little bit overwhelming seeing all these red wires going from back and forth. What's going on here?
So with this, yeah, I think we were trying to make one of the cylinders actually move. As you can see with cylinder 2, was extended instead of retracted like the first one is. We was trying to power the cylinder to actually move, to extend.
Okay, yeah, I see that in action kind of. And I know Amatrol did a lot of work trying to make these simulators look like the things we have in the lab. For those of you guys who were with us last year, do you remember seeing something that looked like this in the actual lift lab with us?
Yeah. Yes.
McKeon?
Yeah, a little something like that.
Yeah, it's actually it's a lot bigger in person and kind of intimidating. But once you get to using it, you adjust well.
Excellent. And then David, thanks for signing in here this morning, helping out. You had a project where I believe we tried to take that same circuit relay and do something similar, but in a whole different world, right? And this other world we did that same project in, what was that? Can you talk more about the Microbit?
Yes, we had to integrate the two, Microbit and Learning Amateur, to design a software program that produces a continuous linear motion. So integrating that, we used the Microbit Tinker Kit we got. We plugged it into our computer, and we had to use all these different sensors and push buttons to try to replicate that same relay board. And you had to think outside the box. It was a little bit of a learning curve, but I think most of us were able to achieve the results we needed to.
Yes, I was real impressed, especially with your project here, David. I didn't give you a whole lot of instructions. I wanted to see how you guys could handle taking a schematic or a project you've done in one world and transition it to a different system and see if you could make it work. And I saw a lot of success there with yours specifically, being able to run that motor and engage those different circuits when the time came. So I was really impressed, and I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Brian, you mentioned earlier, we've talked in the past about one of your favorite real world experiences. Can you let the folks at home know what was your experience with the virtual welder?
Yeah, the virtual welder was kind of like, I wouldn't say like a video game, but it was kind of like a video game. And you kind of got the feel of how like actual welding would be, but without having any of the hazards to go with it. And it was, I mean, it challenges like your patience and like your ability to stay in line. And I think it was fun.
So when you say virtual, was it on a computer or what? Could you describe it?
Like virtual reality.
Well, like with goggles and.
Yep.
Okay.
You actually had like a little tool, and you had to press specific buttons to make the blowtorch go.
Oh, cool! So it was pretty close to. Really cool. holding the real torch, and yeah, you seem to really enjoy doing that. Thank you. Well, how about some other parts? What are you guys remember? What was your favorite part of coming to the building every day?
Doing making stuff, and like how you close to professionals and doing a computer lab, and you can like ask questions, ask the people around you, and they can like help you. Like seeing the machines when you walk in the building, because that was nice and cool.
Right. So every day we kind of took a field trip, right? And so for those of you at home, we you want to talk us through what our normal day would have looked like in real life, Alex?
Yeah, like when you walk in, you could see the machines, and then we go upstairs or you go down to the lab, and like we do little stuff, and then we had that the trainers that we could do, and then we work on a computer.
Right. So it's not just me in the building or the classroom with you. You had access to other engineers, other directors, machinists, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite parts about it. Being able to pick the brain of other professionals in the workplace. And I often start a conversation with them.
And I think that was one of my favorite things to see as a teacher as we're walking in and seeing you guys go and introduce yourself and engage those other professionals and just exploring a little bit. It's fun to sit back and watch. But we are in an active factory, and part of that we had to learn some new skills that may not have thought of before. We had to deal with safety and communication lessons. Give us a view into what it was like to work actually in a factory versus maybe something you've done as a after school job or whatnot.
Yes. So when we were learning about the communication and safety lessons, just learning how OSHA worked and the different type of procedures and protocols you had to follow to ensure your safety and others, it was really expanding. How different steel toe boots and coming in, like sometimes you have to wear hazmat suits.
So sometimes there's a reason for those uniform policies we might have at school, a little bit easier to see.
Yes.
Okay, great. So we've been exposed to safety and communication lessons. We've got to interact with different levels of professionals in manufacturing. What have you guys learned about as far as different careers that this program exposed you to?
Yeah, well, at Liv, we learned multiple things, but we touched a lot of things on engineering. For one, we touched engineering design as we created a strategic outline on how to return to school, and we had to regard everyone's well-being to return safety. We also learned the electrical engineering, as you've seen with the relay controls and the simulators, where we learned how to take one source of power and transfer it to a whole nother module, or how to operate a whole circuit board.
Okay, so yeah, it was a bit of a focus on electronics and project planning.
Mm-hmm. One career we also learned about was engineering designing, because we did a lot with blueprints and how that just translates to architecture and things.
So what do you remember about blueprints? What's the big important takeaway about learning about blueprints?
I think one of the important things about blueprints were learning just all the different measurements and how you had to think ahead and use those tools correctly so that your examples were turned out right.
Yeah.
I see a question in the chat here from Josh Miller. What types of skills can be acquired through Lift?
Honestly, it's a lot of skills that can be acquired, man. Like they said, like engineering design or electrical engineering. It's a lot of skills that can be acquired, like mechanical engineering that's involving like building stuff involving cars and things. Like I said, electrical engineering with the panels and circuits and relays. Then what David said about the blueprints, like architects or CNC operator, all types of things like that.
Yeah. Tying back in also coding.
Yeah.
Or PPE equipment.
What did you have anything to add
Yeah, I
on
would
that
add
one?
something. Most of the skills that we've learned in Lyft are pretty practical for our age and are great. I'm gonna say some of the things that we've been working on, well, like one of our main projects have been coding and circuit boards, connecting wires and adding inputs to get outputs. So one of our assignments were to make a microbit function through a computer or the actual module. So our task was to say we were to when the machine or when the microbit turned on, we have to code it to make it make a sound. So it can be any sound we wanted. We just have to go through the category to find whichever sounds we want and then download it into the microbit. We may have also been told to make it light up. We got to go through the categories and download the lights into the module. And what really made this a key project and skill based is because what we had to do was, what am I trying to say? I've tried it a few times and it didn't go smoothly. So I may have I've turned it on, but the sound didn't work, or I've turned it on and nothing happened. Or just it didn't work at all. So it took some tries and we've completed it.
No, I think that was a fun lesson for me to work with you as well. There was a lot of trial and error on everyone's part, and especially with what's going on with us being shut down in the virtual space. There's been a lot of trial and error across the board. What would you guys say about as far as the online version of what we've been doing this year versus how things operated last year?
Very different. Like getting used to not taking what you said, the field trip to Lyft every day, and just interacting with people in person, because you get a couple people that like don't get on their mics, and then that like holds up the class and stops discussions a little bit. But we did learn some things like the coding and the programming and all that. So it wasn't a total setback and loss. It was still good.
Yeah. I'd probably be harder without having. I found it difficult not to be able to sit down right next to you guys and help problem solve a little bit. But how do you guys feel like your ability to go through the lessons and understand what they were asking, even if I couldn't be, or Mrs. Donahue or Mr. Mims last year to help explain it right there in the moment?
On the other side of that, there's some advantages, because one, we get to work with like Miss Donahue, for example, more closely and talk to her, pick her brain a little bit, can be a little more intimate. And with the simulators being online and we're exploring that, we can work on it at home. So the only 2 hours we had a day in class when we're in the building now become unlimited 24/7 hours if we want to, just to log in and play with it a bit. So there's definitely some benefits, and that helped me, I know personally, get to learn the material better.
I know as a teacher, when I see like Terrell, Makayan and Brian, some of these guys are very interactive and they love to figure things out. And those are always my favorite days, is saying, hey, I can't get this to work. What do you think we should do? Those are always fun. So.
Yeah. No, I was very happy to see how well some of those simulators, how close they were to the physical devices back at Lyft. So it actually made my job as transitioning to online teaching a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I mean, all things being equal, I'm happy with the way things have been progressing this year. But I want to ask a couple more questions about Lyft and kind of big picture stuff, as far as how you see Lyft is going to help you moving into the future. Like, why do you think Lyft is such a focus on these skills in manufacturing versus maybe general engineering? Or
I would say Lyft, why Lyft is focused on these skills and careers is because it can expand your opportunities in this world today, expand your horizons. And like I said earlier, these skills is something you can use, and no matter how old you are, it's something a trait that you will always have once you learn it and know how to do it. And with these skills, it can get you a good paying career, a good paying job when you get older, when you get out of high school. It'll make you a real good career. And it's just a good program. And these skills, like I said, the skills is something that I feel like it's something that you would need in life. And it will make you do better, and it'll make you just succeed more in life.
thank you. I've always tried to preach that, no matter where you see yourself next year or the year after that these are kind of, at some level, they're basic mechanical aptitude skills. And whether you are looking to get into a good paying job right out of high school, or if you're even thinking about pursuing STEM and engineering afterwards, it's a great place to start with. How many folks thought about engineering or manufacturing before they got into Lyft? And what do you think about it now that you've seen it a little bit behind the curtain? Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I thought about it. It was in my top 3, and I like it. I'd be down to take this as a job. It's not as bad as I thought it would be at all.
Okay. So it kind of gave you a little bit of confidence that you can handle it. And
yeah.
Great. Micaiah, you had something to add too?
Yeah. Well, when I was younger, I used to volunteer with Habitat.
Okay.
So I learned how to build walls and build steps and wire stuff, just small stuff though. And I've never really learned like lessons about some of the stuff that we do. And manufacturing, definitely trade school and stuff. Jesus. Would definitely be something I'm interested in going to.
Excellent. So I hear a lot of positive confidence about the engineering field or technical fields. So that makes me happy to hear as a teacher. We have a question here from the audience here. It says, what would you say to a peer who's considering participating in this program? So we have some middle school kids coming up through the ranks or whatnot. What would you guys say to them?
I would say if you're a little unsure what you want to do, you don't have any particular passion or something you want to pursue, to give advanced manufacturing a try. Because now that we're in this building, everything seems more real, more possible. So it's fun. I like it. So because it does, like Keon was saying, these skills are in demand. So that's my advice that I would pass on to a middle schooler up here.
Thanks, David.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I would say I feel like you should give it a try. I mean, if you're unsure, just give it a try and see how it works out for you, because it's a really good program. And like I said, it's a lot of jobs that people can't get because they don't have these kind of skills or traits. But you doing this program and going into Lyft, you will be available for for that type of job that people can't get because you have knowledge and you learned the skill of how to do something, how to do a certain thing.
Thanks, Keon.
I'd say take the class even if you don't want to go into engineering. Just to have that extra knowledge, something to add to like your skills.
Yeah, I agree.
And yeah.
Kind of
Extra.
broadening your horizons a little bit. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
You know, David, you said something there about exposing you to opportunities, and I thought that was really interesting. How do you think Lyft has done as far as providing those kind of opportunities and affecting maybe equality in the workplace?
Right. So since these skills are so marketable, I think there's a lot of equality. It's such a big skill gap. There's so much room for anybody to come in, man, woman, black, white, whatever, to just be able to come in and learn and provide the skills that many employers are looking for. So it's just the same rules, same opportunities across the board.
So it sounds like you feel like you can compete with anybody if this is where you want to go in life.
Exactly.
Well, then we've done our job here, I think.
Mr. Gerber, I want to add some.
Sure, please.
I think Lyft is kind of a head start because of, well, I typed it in chat. Some of the things that we haven't worked on, some of the things that we work on probably won't work on until we get to college. So, or probably won't even hear about until we start studying in that profession. So I really think that Lyft is a head start to start building your manufacturing engineer career.
Yeah, and that's been kind of our goal all the way along, is give you guys enough, like I said, peek behind the curtain and let you know that it's not impossible. I mean, maybe you watch on Discovery Channel about how they build bridges or make giant machines, and some of it can seem overwhelming. Like, where do I fit in to that? And our goal here is to let you know that there's a place for you, no matter where you start from or where you come from. Where do you guys see yourself going from here? How do you see you using this in the future?
I'll give someone else a chance. Okay, so I see myself going into STEM, even just being around Mrs. Donahue and Mr. Gruber. It kind of got myself into education as well. So integrating STEM and education together. So it's really just been overall a great program for me. And back onto what McKine was saying, that Lyft teaching these in-demand skills this day and age is so great, because like our parents, they went to school and their schools did teach them practical skills, but they weren't as in demand or as high paying as the skills that's Lyft teaching. So I'm so thankful to be able to get these opportunities.
Great.
One of the questions in the question and answer was talking about how many females, which we had a couple girls signed up, but they didn't make the webinar today. So I'll let you guys answer that. How many females do you see in these programs, in your classes?
Actually, there's quite a bit. I think close to half.
Yeah, I was gonna say a good amount. Yeah, it's just showing like diversity. I mean, no matter what sex you are, I mean, you can learn the same thing, treat it the same way, and do the same thing as everybody else.
Yeah, and I know I was speaking to one of my classmates, my female classmates, and she was speaking on how she even in this environment, she gets a little more attention, a little more help than she would usually at school or in another work environment. So I think that's great to hear. You guys
Yeah,
are
I mean,
doing something right.
we really promote it. I guess the girls were just being shy today.
All right.
Maybe one more question, Mr. Gruber. I know we're running up to close to the 45 minute mark. If you have another question.
No, it seems like we're hitting our mark here, guys. If you could, let's close it with this. Who's proud to be part of Lyft?
I am. Yeah.
Me.
Good. You guys have done a lot of great work. And
One
I
more
can't wait to see you
question.
on the resumes. Yeah. Oh, there's another question.
One more question in the chat. So I'll just read it to you guys. It says, is there one core academic subject that you need to excel in to be successful in this program? Such as math, science, or both?
Math, mostly.
I think the general statement is math and science.
Yeah.
But in these 2 years of working with Lyft and learning Amateur, they kind of teach you the information as you go. So I don't think you need to be especially gifted in math or science to learn these skills.
You'll
Yeah.
gain
Right,
skills. Good answer, David.
Right. To be honest, I haven't really like, I've critically thought in this program without math. And you know how they say math is a critically thinking subject. I haven't really, like, this has helped me critically think without math. I haven't really experienced any math really.
Yeah, just adding on to that, it's like, you don't have to be super skilled in math or science, just as long as you're available to learn and available to hear what people have to say and actually try to get a work or try. And yeah, I think you'll be good.
Awesome.
Someone made a comment in the chat, and I want to make sure the students hear it. It says, I'd just like to say that I have a much clearer idea of what Lyft is after listening to these students talk about the program. Thank you for taking the time to do this. And so I think we're specifically talking to the students and also Mr. Gruber. I'm super excited that you think you did a great job. And it's, like I said, not only did they take the time to do this, but they prepared questions and they really took the time to lay this out and think about what did they want to say, which is a huge piece of webinar, is what about Lyft did they want to be asked about? So nice job, guys. Another one said excellent answers. You guys are scholars and really great presentation. Well done. So good job, students. You guys
Thank
are
you
looking
so
pretty
much.
happy.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yep, thanks.
Thank
Give
you.
yourselves a big round of applause. You guys did an awesome job. Thank you so much for taking the time today. Thank you, Mr. Gruber and Mary Ann for helping get this organized and put together. Thank you to the UPrep leadership for allowing this to happen. Thank you to Lyft leadership for joining in and letting us do this as well. And again, thank you to Skillman Foundation and all the other supporters for keeping this program going in the middle of a pandemic. We're still happy to be able to have these students on board virtually. And hopefully you saw today what they've been learning and the skills they're going to take from here. And I know the Lyft CEO Nigel Francis was on board and said everyone did an excellent job, and we're all very proud of you. So again, thank you so much, everybody. And maybe we'll do this again. So we could have gone on for way longer than 45 minutes, I think. So good job, everybody. Thank you so much. And
take a moment and open up that chat and read through what all the participants are saying about you, about your effort, your professionalism. You guys knocked it out of the park. I'm so proud of you. And take a minute and bask in that for a minute, would you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The comments are really great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you guys did a great job.
You did that.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I give credit to you guys for getting us interested in it. So heavily.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be doing this without you guys.
Oh, I love, you know me, I'll pull it into some sort of car reference sooner or later here, but I love playing with this stuff.
I'm amazed you haven't brought us in your garage yet for this.
Oh,
So thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Maybe we'll do this again, and congratulations on a great presentation. I appreciate it. And thank you to everyone for joining.
Thank you.
have a great
See ya.
day, guys. Good
Thank you. Have a
job.
great day.
Good job.